Purushaya Atmadarshanam. The living entity, he will become self-realized. He will be able to understand his real self. At the present moment, no one understands his real self. Somebody is thinking, I am male, somebody is thinking I am female, somebody is thinking I am Indian, I am American, isn't it? Different conceptions of self. I am this material body, I am Brahmana, I am Kshatriya, isn't it? All these are not the real self. All these conceptions will change. Let us say if I am thinking I am a child, how long I am going to remain a child? Then I will grow young. So has my self changed? Isn't it? No. It's only the body which has changed. Unfortunately, I was identifying myself with the changing body. This body is born in India, so I call myself as Indian. Let us say next life I am born in America, then I will call myself American. So that is not the real conception of the self. That is not what I am. So, real knowledge means, actually it will lead us to Atmadarshanam. Atmadarshanam means seeing ourself, understanding the self. Here, the living entity is addressed here as Purusha. Actually, there are two things, Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha, as per the Vedic literature, means the enjoyer, and Prakriti means enjoyed. But in the material world, everyone, whether it is male, whether it is female, they all have the tendency to enjoy. And that is why they are called as Purusha. Otherwise, generally, Purusha means male, Prakriti means female. But whether it is male or female in this material world, everybody has the tendency to enjoy. And that is why they are called as Purusha. But in real sense, the only Purusha is Krishna, because he is the ultimate enjoyer. Bhoktaram, in Bhagavad Gita it is said, he is the ultimate enjoyer. Whatever activities actually we do, even in this material world, the actual enjoyer is Krishna. It is just like in Ishopanishad it is said, Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Everything actually belongs to God. So if everything belongs to God, it is for His enjoyment. If it does not belong to me and I try to enjoy, it is illegal. Say for example, somebody has got a garden near his house and the garden belongs to that person. So whatever fruits are grown in that garden, it is meant for that person. He is the proprietor. One who is the proprietor, he can enjoy those things. If somebody else tries to enjoy, it is called illegal. Similarly, if the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything, then actually he is the real enjoyer. Then I may say, no, I am the proprietor. The hand belongs to me, the senses belongs to me. So then Prabhupada gives the example, if there is paralysis, isn't it? Then you can use your hand, you can use your body and enjoy. Why don't you enjoy? It belongs to you, isn't it? It does not. Neither we are the controller, Neither we are the proprietor and neither we are the enjoyer. All these things, the real controller is Krishna, real enjoyer is Krishna, real proprietor is Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Everyone else apart from the Supreme Lord is called Prakriti, because it belongs to Him and it is meant for His enjoyment. So, we are meant to enjoy not independently. We are meant to enjoy in company of Krishna. That is actually called real enjoyment. Then we can enjoy in company of Krishna. So, Atma Darshanam means one will be able to understand these facts completely. I am Prakriti, I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am spirit soul, I do not belong to matter. So, it is not, the knowledge does not mean partial knowledge. First of all, material knowledge means actually ignorance. It is not even partial knowledge, it is called ignorance. Because material knowledge makes us to understand more and more. It reinforces the understanding, I am this material body. So what is this understanding? It is illusion. Something that which you are not, you identify, you are mad. Imagine you find a person on the street and he is claiming, I am Prime Minister. Prabhupada gives an example that, madman, suppose if he says, the Prime Minister may say, I am Prime Minister. And if the madman also says, I am Prime Minister, there is a difference. The Prime Minister, who is actually the Prime Minister, he is in that category. Whereas the madman, in illusion, he is thinking that he is the Prime Minister. Or just like, say, for example, on the stage, somebody enacts as something else. Isn't it? One may dress up as a king, one may dress up as a beggar. But that is not his real self. His real self is different. He has assumed a role. Similarly, in the material world, we are all actually Prakriti, we are assuming the role of Purusha. And material knowledge is reinforcing this illusion more and more. I am the enjoyer. Everything is meant for my enjoyment. So what will happen? We will suffer more and more. If the servant is thinking, I am the master, can he enjoy? Isn't it? All the facilities will be cut off by the master. Because in illusion, if he starts thinking everything belongs to me and I should enjoy, not my master. So, real Atma Darshana means it is meant for ultimate benefit and it is meant for Atma Darshanam, understanding the real self. Understanding I am not Purusha, I am Prakriti, I am spirit soul. I do not belong to this material world. So material knowledge is ajnana, and then there is something called partial knowledge. Partial knowledge. Theoretically understanding, I am not matter, I am spirit soul, but not understanding the reality of the spirit soul and misidentifying ourself as the Supreme Lord. I am soul, the Supreme Lord is also spirit. I am spirit, the Supreme Lord is also spirit. So when we misidentify that I am that Supreme Spirit, that is another illusion. First illusion, I am material body. Second illusion, I am not material body. That understanding is there. But then, misunderstanding ourselves to be the Supreme. So, Atma Darshana means both these illusions are gone. Both these illusions are gone. We will understand, I am not this material body. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am spirit soul. But Jivera Swarupa Hoy Nityera Krishna Dan. My real constitutional position is I am part and parcel of Krishna, and my function is to serve Him. That understanding will be there. So, Prabhupada explains one very important concept. Prabhupada explains, Jnanam is synonymous to consciousness. Because this table does not have jnana. This has no consciousness. That's why if you see, what is one of the important lakshana, symptom of living entity, is consciousness. In Bhagavad Gita, in the very beginning, when Krishna is explaining to Arjuna the difference between matter and spirit, he brings in the concept of consciousness. He says that which is pervading the whole body, that is not destroyed. Otherwise this body is destroyed. Consciousness which is pervading the whole body, that is not destroyed even at the point of death. What is pervading the whole body? Consciousness. Anywhere. You pinch me here, you pinch me anywhere in this body. I perceive pain and pleasure. That understanding that I am able to perceive certain things, that is called jnanam or consciousness. So, it is synonymous to consciousness. This is a very important concept which Prabhupada brings about. Then Prabhupada says, in consciousness there are stages. Different stages of understanding. There is evolution of consciousness. Just like when the living entity is in lower species of life, let us say we are in the form of aquatics. When we are in the lower species of life, consciousness is very dull. We cannot understand beyond certain things. Isn't it? Consciousness is only about eating, sleeping, mating, defending. That's all. Just like plant life, their consciousness is very dull. They cannot understand much about pains and pleasure. Sometimes you'll find, sometimes they'll send that WhatsApp video. A small child is being pinched or pricking is done with some needle. And then after some time he realizes and then he starts crying. Cannot understand so much. Isn't it? So when we are child, we cannot understand. Sometimes, you are rebuked, the child, after some time he plays. Later on, when our consciousness is developed, if somebody rebukes at whole life, we will keep it in our mind. This fellow, he treated me like this. Isn't it? Consciousness has become more developed. So, from the stages of animals, birds, plants, beasts, then uncivilized human beings, then civilized human beings, then we divide the society The civilized human society is divided into, according to our nature, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. And then the civilized society works towards development in their consciousness. That was the goal of Vedic society. That yes, civilized human being can develop their consciousness from whatever consciousness they have attained at the point of their birth. Gradually we can become more and more evolved in our consciousness. Brahmana is considered to be more evolved in his consciousness because Sattvam Yad Brahma Darshanam. The more we evolve in Sattva Guna, the more we will be able to see things as they are. Actually, just like you can see this. When a person is in Tamo Guna, when the person evolves to Rajo Guna, and from Rajo Guna when a person evolves to Sattva Guna, how much difference is there in their perception and consciousness? Right? In Tamo Guna, you can imagine the person is drinking, smoking, and he is lying down like an animal, enjoying practically his consciousness is at the level of lower animals. And maybe little evolved. When a person comes in let us say he is predominantly in Rajoguna, then you can see this material civilization. Comforts of life may not be exactly like drinking and like that. More of hard work and trying to enjoy life. Isn't it? That is in passion. And in Sattva Guna it is completely different. One understands the futility of this temporary material enjoyment. He is able to see what is this, people are working so hard day and night just for temporary sukha. So much hard work. Isn't it? Just like imagine the child, he is preparing a house near the seashore, he makes a house. It is childish. After some time the wave will come and wash away. And the child is crying, whatever I built, it is gone. Because he is childish, he does not understand. Similarly, when we evolve in our consciousness, we are able to see how the world is working. How foolishly, like animals, people are struggling hard just for eating and sleeping. What is that advancement? Advancement in eating is called advancement. Advancement in sleeping is called advancement. Advancement means Brahma Darshanam. This is called advancement. Understanding in human life, I am different from the animals. I should not be competing with the animal just for eating and sleeping. I should be able to understand who am I, where did I come from, where do I go after leaving this world. Because human life is very rare. We have got the faculties, we have got the intelligence to understand. That intelligence should not be utilized to compete with animals. So, material knowledge is actually giving us more and more impetus towards this illusion, to remain perpetually in this illusion. See, it increases our illusion more and more. That is why it is called Ajnana. Whereas now if you see, in the later lines, now it is described. So what is going to happen? Suppose if you come to understand Brahma Darshanam. Okay. So Jnanam, first of all, it is meant for Nishresya. That means it is meant for ultimate benefit. And what is that ultimate benefit? It is to understand our real self, Atma Darshan, self-realization. And what is going to happen? Because somebody may say, what are you going to achieve by self-realization? Or how do you understand somebody is self-realized? Isn't it? Hridaya Granthi Bhedanam. Material attachment. The knot which is binding us in this material world, the illusory attachments which are binding us to this material world, that will be severed, that will be cut off. Then we will become free. Because this attachment, this knot which is binding us, it is making us to rotate life after life in various species of life. Where is the freedom? Isn't it? Every life we may get, some life may be little better, Sat Asat it is called. Sat Asat means in temporary term, okay, some life may be little better, some life may be little not better, isn't it? Let us say, pig is there and in the next life he gets the life of a dog, he gets another life. It may be little better, but after all, he has not become free. So, Karanam Guna Sangasya Sad Asad Janma Yonishu. All these different grades of life one may achieve in this material world. It is all because of association with varieties of modes of material nature. So we have to understand that if we get enlightened in our life, if we are able to attain self-realization, the result will be our attachment to this material world will be cut off. And if the attachment to the material world is cut off, no more birth, no more death in this material world. We will be liberated from this cycle, perpetual cycle, which we have become caught up in this material world. So, that is being explained here very nicely. So Prabhupada is saying, I'll just read from the purport. By proper understanding of self, one can be freed from material attachment. Tam eva vidatvati mrityumeti. That is what it is said in the Vedic literature. So in the Vedic literature also it says that one gets liberated from this cycle of birth and death. And in Bhagavatam it is said as Purushasya Atma Darshanam. One will be able to see the self as he is. Who am I? Where do I belong to? He will be able to understand. And Kapila Muni is saying, he is explaining to his mother, what is the process of Atma Darshan? Okay, it is very good that ultimately we should gain knowledge, and by that knowledge we should be able to see ourselves, and if we see ourselves we can cut off from this material attachment. But then what is the process? Guru Kripa, what is the process? Devotional service, yes, good. Beginning from hearing from authorities. How to gain that knowledge? Spiritual knowledge is gained by hearing from authorities. Spiritual knowledge is not gained by our material senses. Isn't it? So, that is what he is saying. Yad ahur varnaye tatte. Now I am going to describe to you that knowledge. And we will find Mother Devahuti will hear, and after hearing she also becomes self-realized. She gains this knowledge. This is the process of gaining knowledge. One has to hear from authorities. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya updekshanti tad jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. One has to go and surrender to authority, hear from him, inquire from him. And when we hear from him and serve him, then we will be able to gain that knowledge. They will be able to impart that knowledge to us. That is the process of gaining knowledge. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains this Atma Darshanam as Jivera Swarupa Hoy Nityera Krishna Das. What is the meaning of Atma Darshanam? One will realize that I am part and parcel of Krishna, and I am eternal servant of Krishna. So when one understands this position, automatically his knots to this material world will become cut off. Because when one will realize, I have nothing to do with this material world, I am spirit soul, I belong to spiritual world, then automatically his attachments to this material world will become cut off. So that is called as Brahma Darshan. So we'll stop with this. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.